Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to 5.8G Alive, brought to you by Connections 50 Plus. My name is Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. And with me, as usual, my colleague and friend.
Hi, everyone. Good evening to you. And welcome. It's nice having you on this evening.
Hey, we are in the first week of December. December has arrived. It is the 3rd of December. What a time. I mean, we knew it has been coming. We knew it was coming. We saw the end of October. We were talking about the last quarter of the first quarter of the 21st century. And now we're in the last month. Oh dear, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. But all is good. Christmas vibes in the air, carnival vibes in the air, and things are going great. Jan, how have you been?
I'm doing great, very excited. This is, as you say, this is our time. So I am finishing touches. I was able to put up the lights and do some decorations. So I think within the next week, I'll be totally finished and ready to celebrate.
Great, great. Now, I know that this week we are continuing the Christmas discussion. And Jan, I know we're discussing something that you actually turned into business. So we are going to be talking about decluttering as it relates to Christmas, as it relates to getting ready for the new year. So let's get in tune and let's talk about how we really get into Christmas. Great. Nice. So Jan, decluttering.
Yeah, Terry-Ann, as I said, putting up lights, shifting around, etc. And I thought about, I don't have that many things. I like a clear space. But I'm also aware that I have some friends that they have a lot of things they want to clear up, and they're asking me, so and so who want this, who want that, and they want to give things to charity, etc. So this is a time I know a lot of people very busy in terms of decluttering. And I thought it might be nice when we talk about decluttering to talk a bit about repurposing. Why? Because I decided I would have really liked to change some porch chairs and thought, you know what, instead of changing it, why not maybe repaint it and do over the cushions, etc. So yeah, so this is Christmas time, and this is a topic I thought, we felt that might be of interest to you all. So let's talk decluttering, Terry-Ann. So we have lots and lots of things. We also tend to buy new things at Christmas time. It could be simple things, huh? Terry-Ann, it could be the lights. When you take down the lights, we tend to just put it in a bag and put them away. And it's only when we take it down again to put it up, we realize the light's not working. Sometimes we may put it away thinking, well, you know what, maybe when we put it up again, it might just start back. Maybe some bulb need, we knock the bulb a bit. So we have to be careful what we storing, because when we keep storing up things and not checking to see whether it's working, whether we can still use it or not, we just add into declutter. So I just talk about simple things and lights, but there are so many things, you know. Many of us sometimes we keep the old furniture, we get attached to things, so we don't want to throw it out. But with decluttering, it could be a joy. You have people may have a lot of stuff, and it have those like me. You don't have much stuff, but I just like the idea of maybe lightening up the place a bit. You must find something you feel, you know what, I don't really need it. I could get rid of it. And that to me, the decluttering exercise could be a cleansing one, depending on how we approach it. So if you approach it in a way that, okay, I am just clearing. Let me look at the things that I no longer need or have every year keep putting away and putting away. And instead of giving it away, I believe if we start by agreeing, it's not an exercise that will be too overwhelming for some people. It's an exercise that could give you some joy. And as I said, it's a cleansing for the soul. And you can really, in doing that, sort of prepare for the new year. You think of, I am not starting the new year with all this clutter around me, and if not clutter, with certain things that it don't bring me joy when I look at it. It don't bring me joy to move around in a certain room. I don't like how it looks. So it can you can really, it's how you approach it, and I would say approaching it in a very in a joyful way, Christmas spirit, that you may find you have so much fun in doing that, lighten it up, and for you not to feel overwhelmed, we could do it maybe room by room. We may not finish all the rooms, but the suggestion really is to start with the main room, the main area. Normally it may be your drawing room, where you may entertain guests, because you would like that particular space really to be clear and maybe decorated, or maybe not confuse it too much, but set up in a way that you would be happy to invite guests, and your guests will be comfortable in that space. So we look at it, you look around, and maybe it may not need, you may not need to do anything with it, but you may look at it in a way that's saying, okay, when my guests come, how do I want them, how would they be comfortable? Should I leave the chair in that position? Should I shift it? That sort of, in a way, you're decluttering, and you're decorating one time in a way that you would feel comfortable. So basically, that's how I feel you should approach decluttering, because the term decluttering sounds like, oh gosh, there's plenty things to do, but it may not be, like that.
Jen, I know that you do decluttering services for people. What causes someone to start to say, I need to declutter, as you see it? What are some of the reasons?
When the family start to complain. So persons who are hoarders, I don't think I don't know if it affect them as much. It may affect them, and let me be a little ridiculous. It may affect them when, and we're looking at our age group. We're looking at seniors. We're looking at the over 50s. Let me put it that way. Our cohort. Maybe when you start tripping over things, or and this is with the home, so I'm not reaching into your personal items yet. I'm thinking on a what you have inside your home. Maybe the furniture, maybe wares, and that sort of thing. So I would say when you start falling over things, when you every time you look to take down a plate or a glass, it chipped, and you keep saying, it's time you should throw away this, but you're still keeping it. It has to be very glaring, I think, to that person. After time, they would say, yeah, because it's getting too much. The cupboard can't hold the amount of wares again. The living room space can't hold the extra table or vase or whatever you keep adding to it because you may like it. Um, and then you may have a friend or family member keep complaining about all the clutter you may have, and you kind of pushed to do that. But there are many people who are hoarders, may not see the reason really, for them to declutter.
They are happy
So
with
I
their
would
stuff.
say that, yeah.
But what benefit does it decluttering? What benefit will decluttering bring to a hoarder?
I definitely, and there was once I don't know if they still have it, but I used to watch this show, um, really referring to hoarders, where they actually have to bring in the professionals to help them through. It's a psychological and emotional trauma for that person who hoarding or have a lot of stuff around them. The benefit, of course, is after it is done, in many cases, they may not be able to do it. They may bring in somebody to do it or get help to do it. Sometimes they remove them from the home and bring them back after, but it eases the stress. They feel less stressed, they feel lighter. As I said, it's an emotional situation there. So in cases where it's very extreme, um, people like that actually need to be counseled, because the reason they may be holding on to certain stuff is could be sentimental reasons, and they pain in them to let go of it, because although it may bring back certain memories that are not pleasant, they still might feel guilty to let go of it. So, for instance, I know this situation, family situation actually. The bed there from ages, really, really old bed, um, starting to fall apart, etc. And in this case, this is a personal story where my mom, remember, they got that bed when she and my dad got married. So you know how long that was. And it was handed to them from some aunt or whoever because they couldn't afford at the time to buy a bed. So it is real old. It's past the stage of appreciation, saying it's antique. And we couldn't get my mom to sell it, and it taken up space. She offering it to us, and we nobody wanted because it would clutter, and she insisted. So one of my sisters took it, and she has been complaining. Oh God, you're taking up space. She don't know where to put it, and I'm saying, get rid of it. She said, "How I could get rid of that? It was given as a gift by her mother, and she feels so, attached. She's not really attached to it, no. She's just feeling guilty. So many times we may just keep stuff out of guilt, um, because it was given to you as a gift. So I would say to release things is a lot of you have to get rid of the clutter in your mind, that emotional attachment that you're really not. It have certain things I understand you keep, but things that's no longer useful to you, is how you look at it. But when you're helped to get rid of whatever these things are, it definitely releases your you feel lighter, less stress on you. Emotionally, you're actually being thankful that you no longer have that. I would say for us too, one of the benefits in terms of if you have lots of furniture around, um, less chances of you bouncing your foot or something. Some people have clothes from, oh geez, way back. Some of the clothes, because it's in the cupboard long, you get these mites, they have little holes in it, and they still feel they have to hold on to it. Lots of things. Things dry, the dry rot. You pick up the shoes or the bags, they dry rot, but because you paid so much money for it, it's a special brand, you loved it. You're not really using it again, but you're holding on to it because you don't want to let go. Um, the other thing is that for you, for the person to be able to release and give it, you is how you look at it. You could look at it as, instead of you holding on, you're blessing somebody else with it. If it's an item that could be useful to somebody else, you bless them. So I see a lot of benefits, especially for me. The biggest benefit is, you're getting rid of those heavy emotions and guilt that you walk around with. You may not be happy holding on to the things, but you feel you have to. And that, for me now at this time, when you're moving into a new year, it's good to move in without that heaviness on you. And you have more cupboard space and all that.
To bring more stuff in.
And when you know, in your kitchen and you open the cupboard and you can't even push things in because of all those plates and bowls and things you need to get rid of. For instance, Sarah, I like to add in a little personal aspect to it. A lot of we reheat or anything, we use the microwave very, very often. And I had a set from way back. I love it, a nice set. And you realize I can't use that in the microwave again. You have to heat the food and then put it out in this. And it's such a stress. So I haven't used that set for years. And recently I say, okay, enough is enough. Just get rid of it. And it made so much more space in the cupboard. The cupboard not looking like if I pull one cup, everything coming tumbling down. So it eases that.
So where do you put these things if you have
You
things
give it,
like that?
I mean, Terry, and there's so many ways, depending on the items, of course. Huh? You have things you could donate. We may not feel we need it. I may not need the chip plate or whatever, or the spread that really I've had enough of. But there are many people out there in need. And they have the places, the institutions that when you donating, you donate the things to. Obviously, you're not donating things that should be done. So the other option is you actually make things you put sections as you go along. You are in your mind, you have them in mind, you can get a list. So these are the things I am donating. It's still good, it's useful. I'm blessing some people with these stuff. These things don't matter what. The clothes have too many holes in it. The sheets wear out. The plates ridiculous and all that. Yeah, you dump that. You could have a garage sale, and no, it's not a garage sale where anybody have to come to your home. The pieces that you feel really worth something, but you no longer need it.
Yeah.
You take some photos of it and you put it online. They have a free marketplace, social media free marketplace. Those who not on social media, you take pictures and you WhatsApp it to friends and say, Do you know anybody who want those things?
Yeah.
You sell it very reasonable, but you may make some money off of it. So yeah, you donate, you dump, you keep, and or things that you feel really you want to keep, and as we repurpose, So yeah, you have a choice. The main thing is you clearing your space, and you're making a list of the things that you have. For the last 2 years, every Christmas you're bringing it out and you're putting it back because you say, no, I ain't using that, not looking good, that sort of thing. But you have to be honest, and you have to prepare your mind to be able to release. Some people don't like to give a no.
Well, I
They
suppose
just find
if you're attached to your stuff, you won't see it as clutter. As you said, the first thing is you have to be of the mind that says this is clutter. And I know a
I
lot of
agree.
people who, in my opinion, because I am not into having things that, as they say, not fit for purpose, so not serving any purpose. If I don't use you in 6 months, you're gone. So
Right.
I may be at the other extreme of that. Um, but there are people who I suppose I may go into their home and think, oh my God, I feel claustrophobic. There are too many things in here. But hey, that's me. It's not my business. So it's really people who have to decide that they need to declutter. And I'm just
Yeah.
thinking of my own, what would motivate a person to to declutter. And when I say declutter, I mean not replace, because a lot of people throw out the old and immediately replace what they've thrown out with the newer version of it. So you're
Yeah.
actually not decluttering. So the dining room table is chipped and the chair's wonky. So out you go, but in comes another. And so what is decluttering? What if you say you're going to declutter, what does that mean?
As you said, it's an individual thing, and persons. You mentioned yourself in your case, you're not keeping anything by you long. You want your place clear. The opposite
Yes,
of
in my
that is
mind. It happens in my mind and in my physical environment.
right. So on the other hand, they have those just like things,
So when
they got
somebody,
it things, and
so
they may not at all. Decluttering is not their thing. You may tell them whatever, and they're good. They're leaving it just so.
yeah.
So for me, I mean, that question in terms of what is declutter and why would they want to change their way of their lifestyle. If their lifestyle is when I come home, I like to see plenty things all around me. Why should I change? And I answer that. To me personally, I feel the only way someone who's really who like a lot of stuff around them, the only way they would change is if something drastic happened. As I say, the chair that they should have thrown out long time really fall apart and they have no choice. And to replace it, they may want to replace it with the exact type of thing, but they may not be able to find it, or they suddenly realize, you know what, this is an opportunity to bring in a smaller size. So I believe for persons who may be on the extreme, I believe something has to happen that forces them to make a decision. And the decision may not be the decision is to get rid of a couch and bring in a whole suite of things. Sorry, and just pause this a minute. Let me answer it, sir, please. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Mhm.
So Terry, and I really believe you know, the actual exercise of decluttering may feel very overwhelming for people. For those people, I will say, who have a lot of stuff, And when they hear the word declutter, they wouldn't even take that on because they don't see anything wrong with what they do. So for this Christmas season, my suggestion would be for us to probably look room by room and decide what we think, if we really feel that we are comfortable with what we have, and also if we want to bring in new stuff, we should really ask whether we need to bring in new stuff, or should we get rid of some of the things before we bring in new stuff. You know, I think each person is, it's really a decision they have to make. As I said, sometimes those in the home might tell you, gosh, you don't, we really shouldn't keep this because we have it so long and it's not making sense, nobody using it. So they may put some pressure on that person to make that decision. But I believe the real act, the real exercise of decluttering could be a very emotional one.
Yeah.
For the persons who really, that we would term hoarders, is a very emotional one.
Yeah. But I suppose there are few real hoarders, and they're the ones who will need support. But I think in a practical sense, and this may not be seasonal, but in a practical sense, if you're choosing to downsize, then
Yes.
you take yourself through that process.
Yes.
Because if you're comfortable with your stuff, and you're comfortable with your stuff. If you might get accustomed bouncing your toe, bouncing your knee, but I suppose it really comes in when you have to downsize, or if you are probably having guests over for Christmas, coming for the holidays, and you need to create some space, and if all of your space is filled, and you suddenly realize, but I don't have immediate extra space for guests or to accommodate persons, I think at that point you may want to say, what do I do with these things, and take an objective look at your things to see if and therefore a decluttering exercise may start in that way. Which
Yeah.
is away from the extreme of a hoarder, but lighten up to accommodate Christmas guests, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Because, as I say, not definitely a very small percent may be hoarders. The rest is really, we need to clear up, and we just don't have the time. And this season sort of gives us an excuse, a reason why we are clearing up or downsizing. And downsizing, as you said, don't have to be the Christmas season, could be for a situation where you may be moving to a smaller space, and you have no choice but to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you call traditional Christmas cleaning a decluttering exercise?
I would say yes, definitely. You're throwing out, giving away. Yeah,
Or you just
because you're going
kidding?
through the things, you're throwing out things, you're donating some the clothes, the sheets, different things. You are, in some people case, they actually would be, decide, look, let me sell something. I have this, I never used it before. And you put it out there. This time, you see, especially on social media, a lot of people selling stuff.
Mm.
This is partly used, or new, still in a box, and you see these ads. So yes, I feel that is going through a whole decluttering process. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm thinking of my own environment and my own space, and I really do decluttering on a regular basis as you go through different phases. Out
Mhm.
you go. Out you go. so that there's very little. And you know, the thing about it, I'll give a personal joke. While we were preparing for our party last week, was it? Last week or week before?
Mhm.
Um, because it was at my house, Jennifer was looking for decorations. And I'm such a throwaway person. My helper hid some galas
Yeah.
because she figures there must be something to put in its place.
Mhm.
So that was the only piece of anything. So I suppose you can have the other extreme
Yeah.
where you get rid of everything and somebody has to hide something because you might need it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
So
But
I say and I looked at Christmas time to Terry, and this is when you're home, it's light and it's appealing. It gives you that really joyful spirit. You make
I suppose
room.
if that's your style, there are some people who love to be walls of pictures and memorabilia, and that keeps them cozy.
Yeah, we talk about that. If that's your style, that's
Mhm.
cool. And nothing is wrong with that. I don't consider that clutter though. If that's your style, that's a different thing,
Mhm.
because we do things differently. Um, but I consider decluttering is when you don't want stuff and when you start throwing out, So
Mhm.
that's why I say yes. The lighter exercise, not the heavy and you don't have to bring in a truck to take away furniture and take away. To have persons who have a lot of, especially in the yard, they have to actually hire a truck to remove the all kind of old debris and all that sort of thing. That's a form of decluttering. You're getting rid of all kind of old stuff that you had there and you're cleaning up the place. And you find Christmas time, even the services offered by the local government, they have this around Christmas time, they go the extra mile and they actually encourage people who have their old appliances in the yard and all sort of old stuff. They actually assign a day and they will tell you, okay, put out all these things and the truck comes and pick it up. That to me is a form of decluttering and helping people to clear the space, and after they clear it and they look around and they could say yes, some people say they didn't even realize they had so much stuff just pile up there.
Hmm.
So
Oh, wait.
it varies.
Hmm. Wait for the scrap iron on old battery buying man to pass.
Yeah.
So, Jennifer, what is your decluttering plan for Christmas?
I actually, like you, Terry, and I throw it as I go along. So what did I do? I did. I had some, it's by paint, Terry, and you have the tin of paint. So you buy a whole gallon of paint and you may paint room and they say you need more paint and you end up with this half tin of paint.
Hmm.
And I find, oh God, I spend so much money on that tin of paint, you don't want to throw it out. And you will keep it in case you have to touch up the wall after. And you find this year pass, next year pass. And I remembered last year, some year I was painting. And I told you, I have some paint there. Oh, it was varnish.
Hmm.
And I did use the varnish again. And I had 2 tins of varnish, and I found I paid a lot of money for this special varnish. And I told the guy, and he opened it, Terry, and it hard. You can't, he said, you can't use this again. And I said, you know how much money I paid for this tin of varnish? And I have it here for about 2 years put away. And I started looking at the other paints I have. Terry, and I'm not lying. I must say about 8 tins, a half tin paint. And when you open it, hard. So I got rid of those and I said, you know what? I am not buying, I'm buying exact whatever it have to be. So I wouldn't have that excess. And the paints just pile up there.
Mm.
So that for me, I had to get rid of that. Basically, that's it. But I had some pots, some plant pots that, you buy the plants from the nursery and they come in these small pots, sort of soft type of pots.
Mm.
A hand was here, was here about a dozen. Why I have it here, I don't know. I thought maybe if I set in a plant, I could use them. I got rid of those because I wasn't setting anything. Um, they're long time over the period, they're just there. I have to turn them over because if not, it is a mess.
Mm.
So stuff like that, you may not a whole year there and not worrying me. But somehow, for me, Christmas is a special cleanup. I
Mm.
want everything clean. So things like that. So my clutter or what I saw as things to throw out is like that. The old painting and the small plant pots. But other than that, I like my space clear. Um, if I have any, as I go along, any sort of old towels and thing, I get rid of one time, and I give away clothes all the time. I
Mm.
always do, and anything I have, it can't fit, and I don't want to see it in my cupboard. So that's me. So I don't have that kind of clutter.
Mm.
So again, that's my personality. Somebody might still come by me and look around and may feel the place cluttered, but I I don't see it.
And I
I don't
suppose
see it.
one person's memorabilia is another person's clutter. So it really doesn't matter what other people think. It really is about how you
I
want
see
your space to be.
I see a nice clear space.
Mhm.
So again, that is really up to but we talk about the emotions, getting rid of the painting. All I thought about is, oh, I spent so much money on this. But it's okay. I didn't see I didn't feel, I don't have anything that I feel such a strong attachment to. I believe so far that if I have to throw to get rid of that, no,
Yeah.
of that I'm not emotionally attached to things like that. I could get rid of all the furniture I have, um, and replace it with something else without feeling any
But that's not
attachment.
decluttering because you're replacing.
But
Is the
even
essence is the essence of decluttering to not after you get rid of it, it is not replaced. Is that
no, but it's
the
what you
decluttering?
replace it with. I would say if you get rid of those couch that's swinging from one end to the next, and you just bring in a two-seater, that's not
Okay.
a small sofa. That's not. I don't consider that cluttering. Again, I think that is more under the term of downsizing. You
Okay.
know,
Mm-hmm.
so it varies. I think it varies with the person and what we see is individual. As I say, what you think is stuff, I'll come in your house and find it's nice and clear. And as you say, somebody else might say, why she have that big table or big chair? Or,
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line at this stage is everybody is different. I would say you go room by room or just focus on the room that you entertaining guests or the room that you use most and you really find that maybe you could change around a bit. Maybe it have one room that is not looking cluttered and you shift around, move
Mm-hmm.
something from one place to the next.
Yeah.
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 It's the awareness, Tarian. It's really the awareness and whether you feel you need to do that, and you approach it with joy, and if you know you'll feel light after.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do it in a vex, huh? If you're upset, then don't do it. You know, it's not an exercise to do that make you uncomfortable or make you guilty and all that.
Mhm.
If it does, if that happens, then you shouldn't do it. It should be one of saying, okay, I'm happy to do it. I feel lighter, blessing others by giving away or donating and making some money if I sell it. That sort of I think
Yeah.
that's the approach you should
Yeah.
use.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose it is consistent with this stage of life where
Oh yeah,
the you know there's a saying it's you may attach a lot of value or emotion to things, but
yeah,
I think the big decluttering, if you don't look objectively at the stuff that you have, it becomes, instead of an exercise of decluttering and minimizing or downsizing for you, it could become a burdensome, traumatic, and very distressing exercise for someone who is left to get rid of your stuff when you are no longer there. And
definitely.
it would be, I think if I think of I don't think I won't use the word decluttering to describe my approach to life. I just don't like things that have no purpose in front of me. I don't like things that have if I've finished, to me libraries are unnecessary because now all my books are and the things I read are digital. So the few books, physical books that I have, there's a reason for them. There's a reason because I've gone
Mhm.
from walls of books down to narrow bookcases, and the old bookshelf is now a storage shelf in the washroom and holds detergents and stuff. There's a little portion with some books that is headed for it has a home. The new homeowner ain't come for it yet, but if then hurry up and come, it will go in the dustbin.
Yeah.
So I suppose I could apply the word decluttering to it, but if something does not have purpose, I use the example of my having cleared my parents' homes. I thought of my approach was just to let family come and take what you want, and it didn't bother me one bit. But I knew there were some things that my my father and my mother may have valued, and one of them was my father's very, very extensive record and CD collection. One of my sisters insisted I want the records, but when she went through them, half of them were full of mold. They end up in
Yes.
the dump. But when I looked at the CD collection, there really were tons. I mean, there were probably over 500 CDs. Really, really classics, real classics. And this was over, this was about 3 years ago. And so because they were in nice containers and stuff like that. And I kept them because I said, no, I can't just, it wasn't emotional to my parents, but the strange thing, it was emotional to the artists whose works were on those CDs. There is no way that I could have thrown a Marvin Gaye for our live concert away. So now I don't have a CD player, the so I kept these things, and in my mind I'm saying, Karen, what you doing with them? What you doing with them? Because you don't have a CD player, all your music is digital. So finally, on one of my trips, I went and I bought a CD burner, and I've been through the process of now converting them to digital um, digital format, so they're all in my music library. And as I respectfully take those artists' body of work from the physical CD and put them in the digital, I felt much more easily dump the
Yeah.
CD because I put it somewhere. And I suppose, I think of, all right, what represents clutter in my world, and those CDs did. And I'm at my desk here, and I will tell you, I'll give you a joke for one of them, and I think some people will appreciate this. There was a, and if I offended anybody, I apologize up front, all right? I apologize. If I'm going to offend you now, I apologize, but I'm dealing with this in a very respectful way. Now, several years ago, someone took the time and put together all of the Slinger Francisco's works together and grouped all of his works in different, like Down Memory Lane, Dirty Old Man, Casanova, Top Gun, Road Marches, and so all of his it's about 20 CDs. And this is the last batch that I have to convert. So the thing's not even in a proper CD cover. So
That
I am good now. This is, to me, this is invaluable. It is amazing to sit and listen to the original recordings and stuff like that. And any other artist, this in the dustbin so fast it isn't funny. In the dustbin. But
again,
because
yeah.
I respect our art form, but as soon as it goes through the burner and it gets onto my cloud, it's plastic, and therefore off to the bin you go. So if there is a person who wants to collect CDs, I have a very impressive, and I mean very impressive collection of old standards and classics of every possible genre of music you could imagine. And so before they all go dump because I've converted them, if you're into CDs like that, send us a message, send me a message, and I might be able to bless you with some
So
CDs.
it's really, Terry, a matter of choice.
Yeah.
Somebody into music, or like as you say, appreciate the artist, would do that.
The thing is, I've shown these to DJs and they say, but all that music is on the clouds.
And now I'm about to say, for me now, if I have that, I definitely want to appreciate it. To me, that is clutter. And I feel if I want to hear something, I just go YouTube and put it in
No.
and listen. So it's a matter of choice and your taste, and what you choose to do with it, because you have an alternative. And as you're talking about that, Terry Ann, I want to just, that is where, we could look at repurposing, how you could repurpose, certain items. So for instance, you are doing that using the modern technology. And when you put it out in the cloud, it's not taking up space on any shelf or anything, you know?
They're taking up
So
digital space.
yeah, that digital space, you can't complain. Nobody.
No, that's a cost.
That's you. You decided to do that, but it is not actually, as you say, it's not on your shelf. You're not watching it and saying, why do I have this just cluttering up my space? Um, and I would look at that too as a way of repurposing some of the things we have. And why I thought of that in terms of the clutter, again, I had the poet said that I was going to get rid of. I did go to price the new set and realize it's not within my budget. And that's the other thing. Sometimes, as I said, we are forced to make certain decisions. You know,
Mm.
And I looked at it and said, what do I do? I actually, and I want to bring this up, Terry, and maybe I should have said that before you could have just do it. I went and Terry, and this is from us chatting on using ChatGPT. So these are some aluminum chairs that had sort of rattan, and some years ago I paid plenty money for it, and whatever insect or mite or whatever, they ate up, destroyed the rattan. And I was going to dump it. And the workman who was with me at the time said, no, the frame's very good, the aluminum frame. Why not just paint it? And the cushions were extremely good. And he stripped it for me and painted it. And I used the cushions and they were looking good. And I looked at it and I said, just time to throw this. And I was forced to keep it because, as I said, the new version, the one I wanted, was not within my budget. And I went chat GPT to ask them, chat GPT could, or any one of those online programs could really get you lazy. And I sent and I said, this is what I have. What can I do again with it? And they recommended, I gave an idea of the decor, and they recommended, you know what? Paint it white and use these type of cushions, and you can different options you can do with it to bring it back to life. And well, I haven't started the painting over, but I decided to take up the idea, and they sent a photo to show me what it could look like. And Terry and I got so excited about it. So that is my project I'm working on next week. So by next week, it should be finished. And I'm thinking, yesterday again, my grandson watching my neighbor read and like the idea of having a read. And I told him, I said, look, I'm not going to buy a read. We're going to do a read. And again, I had some old, the Christmas tree pieces, but I think we used to decorate something. And I said, how we can do this? And he said, Granny, I'm going and Google it. And he's what, 9? And Terry, and he went to
Right.
Google different ways to do
Mm.
it. And he just brought it and we did it. You could do this, that, the other. I had some, balls, and he put it together and he was quite happy with it. And I'm saying this because we really should take, and we are going back to our cohort. Sometimes we feel we can't do things, or we may throw out something that it could be, we could utilize it towards something else. And if we don't have the ideas, we could just go online and you get the idea. It's not difficult to do. And why I said this, I should have told you before, I would have loved for us to just do an exercise like that. Just ask ChatGPT or Google something and let them see how easy it is. Because I have a very good friend who simple thing, and she will complain, and I say, why not just go and research it? I say, no, they tell you that you would get this information, and don't care how many times I said yes, just do it. I keep hearing the same thing, and she hasn't done it. So I just thought I'd put in a plug for AI, that we could use it in a nice way to make us happy. Just research. I always,
If we are
get an
if we are willing to get rid of stuff. I think if we are not willing to get rid of stuff, no tool will be employed.
even if you're not getting rid of stuff, but you want to create something.
Mm.
Okay, if you want to create something new. I
Right.
mean, I'm talking here about how you could repurpose things if you don't have any ideas. It helps you to be creative and be happy doing whatever it is. But if you don't want that, and then maybe a bit frustrated, and you say, look, I want to do some decor, do something, And I don't know how, instead of sitting back and be frustrated or wasting your time or wasting money, you could just go and research it. So I just thought I should bring that in. Not everything we can do. I could I could paint over the chairs, but I don't feel to do certain things they recommend. And I say I could get somebody to come and help me. So I call a friend who like to do that, and she's coming to help me do it.
Mm.
You know, um, it's a nice way of maybe getting a friend together, getting and do whatever it is, encourage them, and you pull up the YouTube or the Google it, and you get some ideas. So
Yeah.
for me, that is what um, being creative. I like being. I think I like to create things. So that's the difference also.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You like to
for me,
decorate.
doing
You
that.
like to decorate and change around. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So somebody who don't want to do that may not see the benefit of going to ChatGPT. Let me tell you what I did also. And I got that from you doing it. I wanted some, for the same chairs, I wanted some material to redo the seating because the seating, personally, I would really like to get a new set area, but in the interim, right? And I wasn't sure what is the best material to use for it. And I asked, and they were able to tell me the material they suggested. And I was able, again, let me know where I could get it closer to me and the price and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was so proud that I'm able to do that sort of, I wouldn't even say research that I know about ChatGPT, and I can do that. And recently I was reading that they have so many more updated platforms that we can use. But for now, I'll stick to the ChatGPT to get my information. Yeah.
Any question that you have that you don't have an answer for, there is a solution for it. And I think, as we said, one of the first things we have to do is to have, they used to say it's an open mind, but I think it is not so much having an open mind. I don't think you can have a closed mind, but I think so many of our minds are stuffed with old, outdated ideas that are not
Yeah.
relevant. There is no space, even if your mind's door is open, there is no space for new ideas. And one of the first things that we really have to declutter to really go into 2026 with a new purpose, a new vision is the first thing is to stop looking backward and mourning the past and really ideas and practices that really are not fit for purpose today, shut them so that there's room for more stuff to come in. Um, and I think that that's really where a lot of us need to start our decluttering, how we think, you know,
Yeah.
how we think about youth that is lost and you're mourning it, or aging that is feared and you're avoiding it, and you just end up in a stagnated position. So probably the clutter is less in the home and around your environment, and the bulk of the clutter that takes up space is probably in our way of thinking. And I think that probably might be a bit more challenging, Jennifer, to
Yeah, but I think that's the main thing, though, Terry. Because even when we talk the cluttering and the home or thing, if your mind, if you're not ready for it, then nothing will be done.
yeah.
So I totally agree with you that when you're looking at, and you could look at decluttering in this sense, we moving into a new year, start to think of, do we want to enter into the new year thinking the same way, doing the same things, approaching life the same way. And it's questions we asking ourselves. It could be the response could be yes, sir. But we
And if
should
it's yes,
really
make sure it's
examine
happy, because
it.
if you're happy with how life is now, then
Good.
there's no need to change anything. If you're happy with how your environment is, there's no need to change anything. But
Yeah.
if you think it can be better, and you think of how, and you're looking for space to accommodate it, the space might be here or physically, and then you really need to go through some decluttering and probably ask an objective person if you think you need to do some changes. Get under somebody that you trust, somebody that you admire, and somebody whose point of view you respect, most importantly. And ask them what they think, and get the conversation going. Because Jennifer, I think it will be difficult if you're accustomed being in a space and you're not clear on what you want to change, to get up and do it yourself. Sometimes you need an objective third party to come in and question you and help you go through the whole process.
But they have to be ready.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you are ready, that's the precondition. You might
Not
be
like
ready.
the answer, you may not like the response,
Yeah, but that's why I said, if you think you need to have a change in your environment, you're thinking the process of helping you to get there may start with a conversation with someone that you trust, someone that you respect, so that when you ask the questions and they question you and the feedback comes to you, you don't get defensive, you don't get whatever. It's a basis for a conversation. So
Yeah.
that's really the mental preparation that you need. Yeah. So
Agree.
decluttering is probably something that is very valuable, and thinking of how we prepare for 2026, but Christmas is first. But I think we need to think of both parallel, because after Christmas, you only have 1 week for 2026, unless you want to spend January decluttering. But if you're like me,
No,
you have to wait
this
till
is
March. You'll have to wait till
yeah.
March because you're thinking about Carnival. So
Normally, when you think of preparing for Christmas, you really think of, putting things in place. And you said it early on, you must be happy doing it.
mhm,
You must feel good about what you're doing. If your approach in doing anything is a negative one, then you're not going to get through with the thing. And if you feel sometimes, Terry and I accept your point where you can get somebody who you trust to talk to you. Because that saying, we could fool ourselves.
mhm.
Some of us could be fooling ourselves by thinking, we don't need to make any changes. We don't need to make any adjustments. We don't need to release anything at all. Yeah.
Great, great. Jennifer, we have been chatting for 59 minutes. So we really hope that this has been a conversation that's caused you to think of
Mhm.
what's going on in the environment, and what do you want people to take from this?
I want people to take that this is a nice time. This is a really joyful season. And whatever you approach, however you're approaching, whether it's decluttering, whether it's not decluttering, just do it with a joyful heart. Think of anytime you have to give anything, that you're blessing others. So we could look at blessing, share some blessings and share some love. And basically, that's how I would say the words I would leave is share blessings and share love.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So with that, we wish you a fantastic week tuning up yourself by decluttering. And
Yeah.
until next week. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Bye.
bye.
50 Plus Tribe and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.